What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So I'm back now. I had to fix a couple of things really quickly. Got a couple things working too. That's pretty cool. But back to where we were. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about today. First thing I need to do though, I need to get into Gemini and kind of discuss what went down in that meeting that I just had. Nice little meeting. One of those situations where I think it was just good to experience what is going on. And also, the better you do, the more you do different, the more you're in different settings like this, the better you'll get at them. This is a setting where we're bidding on a job to do video and photo work, and this is a year contract that what I'm valuing it at is about 87, maybe $1,000 for the value for that. I think I have potential to get the full 175K, but we'll see. I think that's kind of to be determined there. If I can get my buddy to submit as well. And so what I wanted to do is kind of recap that meeting, and I want to use Gemini to help us kind of walk through that, what that looks like. So I've got some meeting notes here. They're not all kind of ironed out, but they are. They're just kind of like quick notes that I just took. So I'm gonna copy and paste that right here. So it looks like a couple of notes that I took that I feel like was interesting is that one, they're asking for photos and video from 2 vendors. So they're actually not hiring just one vendor for this. They're trying to hire 2 vendors, and I'm assuming that both vendors offer photo and video. And I think the reason for that is because I think they were assuming that most of the vendors that are applying for this only operate as like a one-man band, and that's not how we operate. But a lot of videographers and photographers operate as a one-man band, so they're probably trying to find 2 people who are available to do this work throughout the year. If one is available, then they'll use the other one. If one's not available, they'll use the other one, blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming that's why they are going this route. But they say they have 175K for the year contract to split between the 2 contractors. One of the gentlemen brought up a question for this, and let me just ask Gemini real quick to throw this into a. Let's just say let's just ask Gemini to organize these notes for us real quick. All right. Nice. Okay, so we're talking about a submission deadline of actually that's not the right deadline. The deadline is actually July, and next Wednesday is the deadline for the questions to be submitted. And they're asking for a technical proposal, a cost proposal, and financial statements. I do want to ask about the financial statements just because I just want to make sure that they're asking about the like what type of financial statements they're talking about. Are they talking about like how much money that my business has made this year, or are they talking about just financial statements as far as like how we charge and bill for proposals or for requests for content. So they're going to be rewarding this via website. And from what I saw, there was about 4 vendors there. And then there was about 15 vendors, including myself, online. So total, maybe about 18 to 20 people may be interested in bidding for this. When I was in the meeting, one of the interesting things was that a lot of the people were kind of in there. And if you're in the chat now, just let me know if you can actually hear me over. I got some music playing here, but just would like to make sure that you can hear me over the music. But one of the things that I just being in those environments that's very interesting to me is that like people start to kind of like measure themselves, right? Some people like, oh, let me ask this question to make me seem like I'm more knowledgeable than someone else. And to be honest with you, a lot of times like videography and photography is just a crapshoot. It's not really about like it's not necessarily always about like the experience that you have, and more so your ability to be able to adjust and make changes on the fly. So when being in a room like that, a lot of times you may like think that like you're not capable of doing some of the things, or you may feel like, hey, like these people seem like they're more knowledgeable to me. When in all honesty, just because they're more knowledgeable in one area or two doesn't mean they are more capable of tackling the job and being as flexible or as valuable to a job as you can be. For me, I pride myself on being very flexible and being able to just like go as things go. And sometimes there's a lot of unpredictable situations that you get placed in. And that's where your experience comes in at, right? Your experience comes in as like being able to like draw on those experiences and be able to adjust on those things on the fly. Just because you've done a lot of things doesn't mean you're capable of doing things on the fly. Some people need a lot of like prep work, right? So back to this RFP. This is some of the stuff that they're asking for. So the core services that they're requesting, which I'm reading off of the chat GPT. Well, this is Gemini. Excuse me. Don't let me disrespect. Let's see if I can zoom in some on these so y'all can see these. Okay. So so scope of work, where were we at? Okay, yeah, scope of work. So based off some of the notes, gave me some scope of work. So core services is they're looking for branding, photography. I do know that they're also looking for like headshots, which luckily my buddy is a specialty. He specializes in headshots. So I'm gonna add a note here. Include headshots. Just making little notes. They're looking for video content creation, which is my specialty. I really enjoy creating video content for social media. And it also says they're looking for social media content creation. So it looks like they'll be doing like video campaigns. Now, someone did bring up the fact that they may be interested more in hiring talent to do the gigs. So they're looking for someone to be able to find talent that can actually speak to camera, which, or well, not necessarily speak to camera. That really depends on what they're requesting for the services. Now, this is going to be spaced out over a year, and they'll be requesting different services throughout the year. And so we're talking about outreach, storytelling, campaigns, which is right up my alley. My website actually talks about like how important storytelling is. So hopefully that's something they stumble upon, or hopefully something I can present with with my just information when I submit. Let's look at some other things. So it says specific deliverables and focus. So headshots. Okay, that's already included, so I don't need to add that. So headshots, maintaining brand consistency. That's exactly what they said, actually. Coverage of multiple events throughout the year. This is also something that we do pretty frequently. Potential logistics elements, filming on a train. This is something that we probably want to clarify. Do they need to be filming on a train? Is that something they want to do? Is that something we need to invest in as far as other equipment to help us do that? The biggest crew size they've had, this is an interesting question that someone brought up, is a crew of 6. So that was the largest group they had. So that kind of puts in perspective a little bit of like how polished the work they need. I've worked with larger crews than that before, so that's not a big deal. And again, potential logistics would be using and including talent in this. So let's see, compensation. So the total budget they have is $175K for the year contract, and this will be split between the 2 contracts. So there's a potential making around $87,000 off of this, which is a good chunk of change. Again, there is expenses, and if there's crew that needs to be hired, want to make sure that when we are creating, numbers for this, we're keeping that in mind. So they're evaluating our submissions based off of a few different categories, and I need to go back and read the RFP for that. But there's a few different categories that they're actually rating our submissions off of. Now, what I plan to do is to take this information here and look through the RFP, which is basically a document that says like all the things that they are requiring, all the things that they need. And so when I'm looking through this RFP, my goal is to use ChatGPT or Gemini to help me make sure we score as high as possible. And so knowing that bit, I think that is important to know, like, hey, they're gonna be scoring our submissions based off of these different categories. Now, what I want to do is to use AI to help me score high in those categories. And so this is something like, this is where I see like AI helping out small business owners is like using it in these sort of ways. I wrote down a couple of things because they actually, there was a question about like, hey, one of the filmmakers there said, mentioned about like, how do you want these delivered? And they really didn't have an answer for that. And that's something that I want to do, is present to them I wrote up here, one of the key actions that I want to do is present and show them what our delivery system looks like. And maybe that can like answer a few questions without me having to like answer those questions for them. But if I lay that out in the proposal, I can probably jump over a few hurdles. So I think that's an important piece, important action that I need to do to show how we deliver our videos to our clients, what that looks like and how they receive those things. Could answer some questions and also maybe put us a little bit ahead of some of the other competitors here. Open questions and points to clarify the frequency of services. Now they mentioned that there was a minimum of 5 events that was going on, and this is detailed by the breakdown of like service frequency. But there may be some other deliverables that happen. So they have 5 events, but there may be a time where they want to come through and film some social media stuff, or they want to come through and shoot some branding campaigns. These are things that will be added on top of those 5 events. So 5 events is important, but 5 events is not the only thing that we'll be filming or shooting. Filming on a train, is this a confirmed requirement? This is a question I need to ask them, or is this a exploratory idea? Is this necessary for us to film on a train? The EVA system, I'm already a part of the EVA system, which is basically a procurement system for the Virginia like state entities. This particular entity is a state entity, and they use the EVA system, which is good because I'm already registered in there. And I don't need to get registered, or I've been a member or a vendor in the EVA system for years. Specifics of the 5 labor categories. Now, ensure these categories are clearly defined for the most accurate cost proposal development. Yes, that is something that I need to look through and identify, like, what are the, let me see if I can pull that up. I think I pulled it up somewhere. In one of these thousands of tabs that I have, right? Let's see if I can find this. I don't see. I'm about to pull it up again. Yeah, I'm about to pull this up again. Let me see. Okay, I think I have it in my text messages. Pull that up so I can see what that looks like. Maybe there's some information in there to help me out here. A lot of this is like one of the reasons why I don't like doing RFPs like this is because they take up a lot of time, and it takes time to go through this stuff, figure out what this brand needs, what they want. Then you submit a proposal, and then there's a possibility that you may not even get the job. So, and that sucks. That sucks. But hey, you gotta try, right? You gotta try. And the more you do these, the better you'll get. But again, securing $87,000 or $175,000 for the year gives you a little bit of leeway to be like, I can be at ease, right? I can relax myself a little bit. All right. So examples of task orders. So I'm looking through right now. I'm looking through their RFP, and what I'll do is I'm gonna copy this information here. I'm gonna put it into Gemini. It says SOW. does this include, so contractors, post-production? Okay, so this is not everything. This is not everything. This doesn't show what they're requesting for us to submit. So let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up. And so cost proposal. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this cost proposal, see what it's talking about. Okay. So I believe the categories they're talking about is the required labor categories. Accordance with the, okay. So it looks like, and this is what okay, so let me just, I'm gonna just copy this image here. Copy this image. I'll paste this image here. Here is I should also add the other information. So representations and certifications. Okay, so the following forms shall be submitted with signatures incorporated with the bid and proposal. So what they're asking for is a company information questionnaire. They want me to fill out this questionnaire, and then they want me to notify them of any conflicts of interest. Okay, I don't have any conflicts of interest. And then they also want me to notify them of all of my government state and local government conflicts of interest. I don't think I have any of those. And so they also want to know trade secrets or proprietary information. Some of these are like new questions. Certifications, they want me to, I certify that this proposal is made under prior understanding, an agreement or connection with any corporation. Okay, so they're trying to make sure that I am just a vendor and not like someone who is doing all types of, like, it's like working under a huge entity. Firms, contact information. Okay. Conflict of interest, certification, who's described below. Okay, so it looks like I have to fill out all these different forms. It's quite a few different forms. Just to give you an example of what that looks like, just a whole bunch of pages like this that request me to fill out all of this information, but nothing too crazy. Okay, so, but this is why, again, this is why this, I mean, if you want to be awarded a big gig like this, you got to do some other work like this. And I think typically before AI, this would take me hours and hours. This may take me hours and hours still, but much less, and I'll be probably a lot less fatigued while doing this. So I just submitted, I put the cost proposal in here. I want to submit some other information though, which is probably going to be, it'd be crazy if ChatGPT could just fill out all that information for me. That would be so nice. Maybe that's a possibility, I don't know. So this is a scope of work. So I'm gonna add the scope of work in here. Is there any other documents? This image, example, cost proposal, and the, what is that? I want to call that the labor categories. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you make your money. All right, you gotta do this type of work. Can't just be all creative all the time. Ideally, it would be nice for me to hire someone that can do this for me, so I could just, not be doing proposals all the time, or not be sitting here doing this stuff all the time. But hey, here we are. So I do want to copy the SOW, which is the scope of work. Here is the SOW. I'm just gonna give Gemini all the information, and I'm gonna say, can you update my notes and next steps? And let Gemini do the work. This sounds lazy though, but under that, I'm gonna go through this stuff. I'm gonna make sure everything is right, but this just gets me ahead of everything. So, okay, so it's talking about submission deadline. Okay, but that's not quite right. So, this stuff is not perfect. So just keep that in mind. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. You guys can see. Okay. There's a lot of information in here. A lot of information. Scope of work. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so they're asking for raw files and photos to align with the VRE brand. Okay. Subject matter, VRE, blah, blah. Okay. General requirements for videography, high resolution video, emphasis, overall context and intricate details. Okay. Types of videos, short promo videos, including social media, longer form content. This is exactly what my business is created for. A company who's looking for this type of work. So contracts. Okay. Compliance. Total budget $175K per year. Next steps. Okay. So Gemini's telling me my next steps based upon the updated information. Thoroughly review the full RFP. Ensure all sections of the RFP, not just the SOW and the cost proposal attachment, are understood. Let me see if there's any more information that I need to. Okay, let's see. I just pulled up the website and now I don't see it anymore. Maybe because one of these has a back button on it. Let's go back. Yep, that's what it was. Okay. And safety rules, I don't care about that right now. I don't have the job, so I don't care about safety right now. Representation and certification. Okay. Scope. I mean, that's all they. RFP number. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I need currently. Yeah, that's all I need currently. All right, I do need to go through all of these though, just to make sure that I have all the stuff filled out and signed, and I submit that with the proposal. Now, one thing that I noticed is that they said that the cost proposals, they want an hourly rate. So I don't typically do hourly rates, and here's the reason why I don't do hourly rates. Every job requires different requirements, and so having an hourly rate kind of limits me to saying, okay, I only can make this amount of money per hour. But there can be situations where you're wearing more hats, right? Maybe a situation where they're like, hey, we don't have a lot of budget for this, but we want to capture like a headshot video, and we need you out here by tomorrow, and we need to be turned around in 24 hours. The problem with that is that requires me to wear multiple hats on a smaller budget. And so, yes, I can charge you hourly per person that I am, or per hat that I'm wearing. But hourly rates really limit you, and especially when you show up with just one person and you're trying to shoot something and you're saying like, oh yeah, I'm charging you X, Y, and Z because I'm the videographer, the audio guy, and all this other stuff. But when you show up one person, it doesn't look great, and so a lot of businesses don't understand that dynamic of what's happening there, and why I don't charge hourly. I usually just charge a day rate or half day rate. And that's just to make sure that I can encompass all the things within that job. And so different gigs may have different day rates. So if I'm just doing photography, then the day rate is different. But I'm doing videography, the day rate is a lot higher. And also it allows for the client to get more done within the day. So it's like, hey, like I'm here, I have everything I need. What do you need from us? And that also allows me to bring two to three people with me and look like a large group. I can pay out those people for their help and their assistance, but then I also, when you see a crew show up and you're like, oh, I paid $2,500, but a crew showed up, or I paid $5,000 and they had 6 people and they were everywhere and they were shooting everything. You value that a little bit more than just one person showing up and shooting with one camera. And so a lot of times after a client has experienced, what I do, the hassle is a lot different. And the hassle is not there. Like they understand, like, okay, like he's going to come, he's going to bring a crew. He's going to bring everything he needs. And I only have to pay this rate, and I can get as much done as I want to. Now, if you ask me, like, hey, can we do another video? Can we do this? Can we try this? Can we do that? I'm not going to be like, oh, well, that's not included in the quote. I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, let's go. And so them understanding that, like, hey, the more I can get in one day, the better. Then it's done, and then it's just up to us in the editing room to get it turned around. So I found that typically works a little bit better than to say, like, hey, yeah, that wasn't included in the hourly rate, so I'm gonna have to charge you again, and then I'm gonna have to do this, and you got to, like, I don't want to have those type of conversations with people. So I value a day rate and a half day rate. Now the problem with this particular company is that they're a little ways away. So everything I do for them will be considered a day rate. So that may include a higher rate per hour, just because I have to travel and I have to go to that area. And so actually they actually listed some of these things here in Gemini, right? So I don't like hourly stuff. I'm gonna give them hourly rates because that's what they asked for in their cost proposals. And so what they've actually they've given us categories. So they have project manager as a category, they have photographer as a category, and they have videographer as a category, post-production and editor as a category, and creative director as a category. Now, essentially, you could act as all of these things, right? The project manager, the creative director, the photographer, the videographer. You could act as all those things and get the hourly rate from all those things, right? But I always find my work to be better when I have a team. So what is I'm just gonna put these categories in Gemini, right? What is a good hourly rate for, and I'm just doing this for the heck of it. I know what my rates are, but I think this would be helpful for some of you who may be wondering or pondering what a good hourly rate is. So let's put all that together. Let's see what's going on. And what we could probably do is, based off of this, kind of find out where our rates should be at. And there's some optional categories here too. All right, so project manager, a good hourly rate is about $75 to $150. Considerations for this is a crucial role for managing task orders, client communication, VRE, timelines. The VRE is the company. Timelines and ensuring deliverables meet requirements, all other stuff. So basically, you're looking at from the top down and considering everything. Probably getting the talent, getting the crew together, organizing everything. Photography, a good hourly rate is about $75 to $175 per hour. For videography, a good rate is $85 to $200 plus per hour for on-location filming time. Similar to photographers, but slightly higher due to the complexity and amount of equipment, cameras, audio, and lighting needed for the task. Now, does that align with what I would? I mean, I would say so. I would say that aligns. I usually, yeah, per hour, yeah, okay. So post production, $65 to $150 per hour. So I'm gonna actually just start like writing these in here. So let's see. Oh, and the last one, let's go look at the last one. Creative director, $100 to $250 per hour for creative director. And this is a senior creative role, someone providing the overall vision, ensuring that the brand aligns with the VRE standards, which is the brand, and potentially developing concepts for storytelling campaigns. This reflects high-level strategic input and expertise. That sounds like something I would love to do. So let's say $250 per hour for the creative director. Let's say we're gonna do everything on the high end. $150 per hour for the post-production and editing. And then we'll say $200 per hour for video. And we'll say for the photographer, we'll say $175 per hour. And then we'll say for the project manager, we'll say $150 per hour. $50 per hour. Now let's tally that up, right? Let's tally this up. So, oh, wait. There's more information here. Important factors when setting your rates. This could be some good information. These are some important factors when setting your rates for photography, videography, and just overall media services. All right, so it says your business cost overhead. Let's factor in hold on, let me pull this down real quick because it's like, all right, so let's switch over. Okay, so important factors when setting your rates. All right. Your business costs, your overhead, right? So factor in the software subscriptions, the equipment, maintenance and upgrades, insurance, marketing, administrative costs, and file hosting platforms such as what I have, which is Frame.io. So also include your experience and expertise for more experience the more experience you and your team are, the higher the rates you can justify. Your portfolio will likely be key here. And so that is mentioned in the SOW, which that is a requirement to actually submit your portfolio. So I will be doing that, And so let's talk about the next part, which is value provided. So value provided is not the stuff. This is what I was talking about before when I was saying that I don't necessarily do an hourly rate. I do a day rate because the value provided is something that you can't really determine by an hourly rate, right? In my opinion, having a crew, having necessary equipment, having the expertise, and also having equipment that makes the job and the cohesion of the two entities that much better is important, and it's value to me that's added that people don't see until they actually experience working with you, right? And so that's the ability to like, just scan this right quick, and then you can see all the photos that we have, or the photos are coming to you immediately, and before you leave here, you'll have them. These are value added things that a lot of clients don't see until you actually work with them. So I would say focus on the value. Well, it says to focus on the value you bring, high quality, brand alignment content that meets their marketing objectives. And then so now we're talking about market research. So if possible, try to get a sense of what similar services cost in the Virginia area. This is often difficult to ascertain directly, but looking at past awards and or general industry surveys can help you in your region. So me personally, I should, and you as well, before you actually give someone a quote or a price, do some market research and find out to make sure that you're being competitive. So the competitive strategy, since the budget is split between two contractors, you need to decide if you're aiming for a larger share of the work, requiring competitive but not necessarily the lowest rates, or a more niche, high value role. Your rates will influence how many hours of service that you can offer within your portion of the budget. Now, this is something that I think people don't really realize too. It's not always the best strategy to try to get the biggest bulk of the money right away. And that may means you leave a little bit of money on the table. And it's important to say, hey, I need to get this money. I need to do X, Y, and Z. Yes, that's important, but it's also important that you make sure you show your value to the client and the customer. Once they experience the work with you, they may be willing to give you all of the budget. But if you try to take that big chunk of money first before showing them the value that you have, it is difficult to get them to say that initial yes. Or to say yes again, especially if you don't deliver. And so blended rates, while you are quoting individual labor categories, be mindful of your overall blended rate. If you're envisioning a certain number of hours from your team to stay within a target portion of the 87K, if evenly split, you want to take this into account. I think it may be important to blend these rates and add these rates up to see where we land at before we do this. So when you are budgeting for someone, make sure that you are you're looking at what that blended rate is. How much does it cost for your whole team to come, and is it feasible and doable for the client that you're pricing out for? And then SOW compliance. So this is the scope of work. So for this particular job that I'm looking at right now, the SOW is very specific. They want advanced photographic equipment, high resolution images, professionally edited. They want aerial drone shots. They want copyright compliance. I will need my rates to support delivering those promises. So that means that if they want high quality work, we need to charge high quality prices. So here's a couple of recommendations. Cost out your services. For each labor category, calculate your actual cost, including salary, payment, and the individual, plus a share of overhead and desired profit. Desired profit is really important when it comes to figuring out how much you want to charge for particular projects. Me personally, I like to have a profit of about, it's going to sound high, but about 25%. It's important for me to make sure that my business is growing. And so to have a little bit of leeway in that is super helpful, because there are sometimes unexpected costs that come about that you do have to account for. And it's sometimes pretty hard and unpredictable to account for. So be prepared to justify. All right. So While not always required in an initial bid beyond the form, be prepared to explain or justify your rates if someone asks you. So how does that work? Why does that cost that much? Like, where's all this money going? This is important for you to understand what that is and how to explain that, because you don't want to be out here just saying, okay, like, yeah, you know, these are the rates, this is what it costs. And then when somebody asks you, like, hey, like, where's this money going to? Why is your rates higher than someone else? Being able to justify that can a lot of times, connect the dots in a client's brain and have them understand, like, okay, this is why I need to go with these people. Sometimes they don't go with you and they go with somebody else, and then they come back to you and they be like, okay, I realized what you were talking about. Align with your technical proposals. So ensure that your rates make sense in the context of the team and experience you describe in your technical proposal. Okay. So I'm going to move this back up here. And then I'm going to go back to the screen capture. I think I got some music going now. Okay. So, I can't hear it. Okay, there we go. I got some music going now. All right. So, let's add that up. Let's add up the cost. So, and let's see if we can find like what a typical job will look like from them. I think I saw something that had that kind of. They had general requirements, examples of task order. Okay, professional headshots is an example of a task order. Okay, so I'm gonna feed this information back into Gemini. Here is what I've chosen. Jesus, let me at least have some type of punctuation for the rates. Can you, let's see, create some some pricing guides and totals for these examples of tasks. Jeez, that took a long time, right? Okay, so I'm gonna paste that there. I think it's got all that in there. Let's I don't know. Let me see. Hopefully it's got the rates in there. We'll see. Then I'll put these examples in here. Let's see. Okay, the rates are in there. Cool. All right, so it's doing some analysis, thinking about it. Let's see. I didn't highlight that whole thing. That's all right. Let's see. All right, so let's confirm the base. Yeah. Rates are right. These are estimates. Okay. Minimums. Okay. All right. So if we're looking at project manager for capturing professional headshots of staff and executives. We're talking about project manager, which is going to be charged for 1.5 hours at $150 per hour. That's $225 for the project manager. 3 hours for photography. We're talking about $525 for the photographer, and we're talking about 4 hours of post-production at $150 per hour, and we're talking about $600 for that. So the estimated total for that headshot is $1,350. Now, that is a good rate. I think that is good, but there's one thing that this is missing, and if you can guess it, this is a good rate. This is nice, but where is this is all based off of labor, right? But where is your profit, right? If we have to think of this in this mindset, right? Even though let's say you are the product manager, you're the photographer, and you're the post-production editor. Let's say you're all of those things, right? That's cool. That's great that you are all of those things. Here's where the problem comes in, right? You have to separate yourself from the labor, right? If I do labor, I should get paid for my labor, right? So if I am being a project manager, that's great. I get paid $225. If I am a photographer, that's great. I'm being paid $525. If I'm also doing the post-production, that's great. I'm getting paid $600 to do those things. Now, you should be rewarded for your labor. Now, where is the profit, right? Where is the profit? The business has to make money too. And this is where we shortchange ourselves a lot. The business has to make money, not just you. You did the work. You need to be paid for the work. That money should be paid out to you to go into your account for you to buy groceries, buy food, do what you want with. Now, where's the money for the business to do what it needs to do, right? Where's the money for the business to continue to pay for the services, as far as like the let's say you're editing with Adobe, right? Where's the money for the business to pay for Adobe? Where's the money for the business to pay for the delivery process? Where's that money at? So you have to take that into account. And so, yes, I'm charging $225 for project management, but that's just for me to be the project manager. It's not for my business to thrive off of. So there needs to be some sort of income there for the business to make profit. If I go out there and I work all of these hours, what is that? 7-8 hours. I mean, you could call that 9 hours of work. If I want to work for 9 hours, yes, me personally, I deserve $1,300. But what does my business deserve? And how does my business grow if I don't add any leeway for that to grow, right? So how would I do that? I would take this rate right here, and I actually have a calculator somewhere, but I really don't want to pull that up right now. Let's see. I might be able to pull it up. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Don't. Let me see. Client outreach, blah, blah. I don't see it. See payments tracking, inventory costs. I don't see any here. Anyway, what I would do, and I'm gonna just, if you guys hear my kids, don't worry about it. Here's what I would do if I was you. I don't know where my rates are like already on my different platforms that I make the quotes from. So when I make quotes, I just go straight there and I just put the rates are already kind of like. But I used to use a calculator for each kind of inquiry, so I could just plug it in. But a simple calculator would be like putting this information in here like this. So now we can copy this information, right? We can copy this information and kind of like just paste it over here. So let's just say we're project manager, right? And let me make sure I can see this. Project manager. And this is a good way for you to create your own calculator, right? We could just put all these things in here. And we create like we just create our own calculator on Gemini. So just use this to determine like what we're going to be charging per hour, right? And let's see. I don't want to copy this all at once because I feel like it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna copy them one by one. It would be nice if I could do that. All right. And it even has notes here, so you can kind of really determine like what I might even just sit here and beautify this too. But let's see. Bam. Culling the images. All of this is like, it's important for us to this should be actually just text here, but we'll see if we can. We're gonna make this into a calculator so we can make adjustments to it. Okay. So, all right, we have everything here, right? Now I'm gonna go up here and I'm going to kind of beautify this a little bit. I'm gonna put some of these in bold. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this equal to this times that. And the reason why it's doing that is because this has hours written here. There, okay. And then we're going to drag this down. And this is going to be, wait, hold on. Oh, I copied it wrong. That's supposed to be $150 per hour. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm like, hold on. Wait, that's a little too much. Okay, so there we go. Then we're gonna put down here, we're gonna do the sum of that. Okay, that's good. We got the rate, we got the sum. Now what I wanna do is I need to add in some costs for the business, right? So we're gonna add a category down here for this is the total labor, and then we're gonna add what we want for our profit. Now we could do this a couple of ways, but I would suggest doing a percentage. So we're just gonna do profit, and so the profit is going to be, let's say we want the profit to be, let's just start small, right? We're gonna say the profit is point. Let's say it's 15%, right? So that is going to be equal to this times, it's going to be equal to this times this. So $200 in profit, all right, at 15%. Now, I told you before that I'd do like 25%, 25% profit at least. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do this is going to be equal to this plus this, okay? And so our grand total is actually going to be this $1,500. Now this is where you kind of could separate yourself as a business and start setting aside money that can go towards other things, right? How do I pay for like a new camera when I want a new camera, or equipment that breaks on set? Like, how do we pay for that stuff? You pay for it from the profit that you make, but you have to make sure that you're putting in profit. Again, you are just an employee of your business. Your business has to make money too. Please separate yourself from your business, okay? So here we go. All right, I'm putting that in there right there, and this is our total cost. I'm gonna pull this up a little bit bigger so I can see that as my total cost, and then I can do something like, like this, where I don't like how that looks right there, so we're just gonna do this, and then it'd be nice if everything was up here, but it's not. All right, so we're gonna do that. I still don't like how this looks, but I'm gonna put this over here. Let me just clean this up a little bit, because I don't have OCD, but I pretend to have OCD every now and then. It's just certain things, right? Okay, so there we go. All right, this is just for us coming and capturing photography and headshot services, right? So we're here now. Again, I told you I don't do 15%. I do 25%. So that's what my numbers look like, just based off of these numbers that we're talking about, right? Now you can get a little crazy, I don't think that is a bad rate for headshot photography, right? You get to put away a little bit more money. The business grows a little bit faster, and if your clients love your work, this is not a problem here. But putting in a 50% profit, you could mask the profit with other things, but again, there's other expenses that come along with this. We're talking about your subscription services. We're talking about your Adobes. You're talking about your Dropbox. We're talking about your subscriptions that you have to operate as a business, right? And so working these costs in are really important. So I wouldn't be opposed to being somewhere right here for this job. So, and again, sometimes you are not getting this money, right? If I am hiring my buddy to do photography, this is money that I'm paying to him. If I'm hiring somebody to do post production, this is money that I'm paying to post production. If I'm not the project manager, what if I can't make the gig? The only thing that I'm making would be this. And if I don't put this into the cost, what am I really making? If I'm hiring somebody and I don't add this cost, you're taking away $500 off of this total, and you don't see that in your bank account. So it's important to add this number here. And it's honestly important to even get more specific about these numbers that you're adding. So that was cool. Cool little exercise. But we have this laid out for different services that they may be asking for. And you can see the rates kind of change here. And so the ribbon cutting ceremony will probably add more than just photography. Probably be video as well. This is a larger one here where we're adding photography and basic video highlights. So we are working a little bit longer, putting 8 hours of post-production and putting in 2 to 3 hours of project management and 3 hours of photo and video work for event coverage for a 2 to 3 hour event. Let's see if that actually mentioned that in there. Did I mention that down here? Doesn't say how long the events are. So that could be, even that price could be even more here. But yeah, this is a good way to like come up with some rates. Now, to other news. I'm going to take a break on this for now because I think we've done some good work for the day. And give me 1 second and I'll be right back. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I actually want to pull that back up. I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, like just as far as like what's been going on recently with a lot of these different just brands and cameras that are coming out. Like to be honest with you, my feed has been going crazy with a lot of stuff. So let's like look at like, I mean, if you just look at like the stream, we got Brendan up here, we got some other Sony stuff popping up here, but I think a lot of people have been going after Amondo's up here, going after like the FX2, and I wanted to like talk about my thoughts about the FX2 and why I feel like it's a good camera, but I understand why it's getting a lot of flack. My biggest thing, my biggest thing with the FX2 was I felt like, Sony has been waiting for a Sony users have been waiting for a long time for a new camera. I said before it even dropped that I felt like it missed the mark just based off of the specs. I made a video about that a little while ago. You can check that out. But after like looking at the FX2 and looking at everything about it, it actually solves a lot of the problems that I was having with the A7 IV, which is what I was just using, because everybody told me about how amazing of a camera that is. It is an amazing camera. I think it is beloved and amazing. I do think it overheats. I do think this camera solves a lot of those issues that otherwise great content creation camera needed in the A7 IV and some of the other like photography or hybrid style cameras. I think this does solve a lot of those problems. Do I think it is worth the price that they have it priced at right now? Now let's go to Sony real quick. Let's go to Sony. So let's pull that up. Let's pull it up. I got a lot of tabs open. Don't judge me. Let's pull up Sony real quick. Let's talk about this. So this is in the cinema line, right? This is in the cinema line. We're talking about the FX2, the FX30, and the FX3. Now let's look at all of the products here. If we look at these three cameras and we talk about let's just talk about the nomenclature, even where they've placed the FX2 among these two cameras, they placed it between them, the two. The nomenclature is also between these two. You got the FX3, you got the FX30, which is a popular thing to do in like just the camera world, is to just add a 30 to it, like the 7D, and then you had the 70D, right? FX30, FX3. FX3 is the flagship model of it, I guess you could say, and the FX30 is the entry level model of it. And the FX2 is placed right in the middle. So that means to me that Sony also agrees that the FX2, and that's the thing. If you go on FX3, to FX2, either that nomenclature means that the FX2 is better than the FX3 or it's worse than the FX3, right? So what they're saying is it's a step down from the FX3, just given the nomenclature where they place it at, and also just the features that they've added onto the FX2. It is a step down from the FX3. I think they believe that. I think we all believe that. But what am I getting at here? I do think that it is a better camera than we're giving it credit for. But I do think it misses the mark, and I don't think this was necessary. Why do I think it was not necessary? It's because we already have the FX3. Now the price jump from here, FX3 to here, is pretty large. I'm not gonna lie. For price, there did need to be something here. All right. I just don't think this is the camera that needed to be here. I honestly think that this camera right here needs to be on the other side of this. This, to me, this should be the FX20 or the. I mean, I guess I can't really say FX20, but maybe the zero added nomenclature means it means cropped or entry level. But what they're saying is this camera is entry level. This is for the new photographer that is trying to get into filmmaking. I feel like the FX30 did that already. I feel like that was the FX30. But when I look at this camera and I look at like what it provides, I do see it as being a all-in-one camera for a lot of scenarios. The biggest reason why I feel like it misses the mark is because of how late it's come out. If this all came out together, I would not be saying this. If it was FX3, FX30, FX2, and it was like, here's the new cinema, when that came out, if they did that then, I wouldn't be saying this. But where we are right now in the filmmaking and content creation world, the biggest miss was that it does not have OpenGate. And I think Sony is underestimating the value that OpenGate has to content creators. And I think that was a gross underestimation. And I feel like that it's going to cost them a bunch over the next couple of years, especially if Canon decides that they're going to take that spot. And I think they can if they do what I'm asking for. And so, yes, baby. Okay, is your mom here? Okay, I'm pretty sure she's here. You should tell him to get out of your room, okay? Okay, tell him to get out of your room, baby. Okay, I'll talk to him. Sorry, I got kids, y'all. So, yes, FX30, FX3, FX2. Now, they say this camera is a gateway to professional filmmaking. I think I can somewhat agree with that. What I don't like about this camera is the fact that they're charging you for a EVF that is unusable after you build it out. I think that what they should have done is took into account like how filmmakers actually shoot, how they film, and how they. There's not a lot of filmmakers, especially entry level or people who are looking to go into professional filmmaking, who use cameras like this. You know, they don't use cameras like this. And what it seems like they're trying to do is change and dictate how we film with our cameras. We don't film cameras like that. We're not asking for that. As soon as I put this on a gimbal, that EVF is unusable. As soon as I put this on a rig, that EVF is unusable. It's very rare that I'll be putting my face to that camera like that. Very rare. I think it's something that I should experience, that I would like. But even with, I mean, you're looking at this right here, even with this scenario right here, right? You see where her head is? If I put that top handle on, does her head hit the top handle? Like, is that something that I'm like, am I over exaggerating this or you're, I mean, I don't know if you can use the EVF. Maybe you could tilt it out of the way. I don't know with that top handle on. But the way she's looking through it right now, I don't think that's a possibility. I also don't like this top handle. I don't like this attachment. I don't like this. I do feel like it is a nice option, but I do not like that it is necessary to have this like this in order to run XLR. Just adopt mini XLR and put it on the side of the camera. Make the body a little bit bigger and put it on the side of the camera. Make it a square and put it on the side of the camera. And what's crazy is, as we look at the pictures and the images of it, you can see how unusable the EVF becomes once it's built out. I've yet to see somebody use the EVF and the top handle at the same time. So that's two scenarios where it goes away. And one of my biggest problems is the screen, because it is completely unusable as well in any type of daylight. I've had massive problems with it. I believe it's the same. Look at this picture here. I mean, EVF, completely unusable. But look how far it sticks out. They could have just made the camera this size. Just bring it out a little bit more. Make it this size. And then that EVF doesn't stick out like that. And then you have more room to put things like XLR ports. You have more room to do other things that allow this camera to be a little bit more functional and usable. And I don't have to buy or purchase this top handle from you guys. But anyway, that's where I stand with it. Not a big fan of it. Not totally against it, but I do feel like it can be useful in a lot of scenarios, and I do see it being a camera that someone is going to be able to use for a majority of their filming and majority of their shoots. Will I be that person? I do not know. I'm leaning heavily towards Canon right now. And I'm leaning heavily towards the Lumix for helping me be able to tackle those social media scenarios where I have the ability to shoot open gate. And also I have the ability to shoot with that camera at a lower cost, lower entry level. Now let me see if I can pull up my agenda for today. I think I had some stuff. Oh, in other news, I actually just put out a little filler email to an executive here in my area, and I wanted to reach out to him to see if we could do some just like mini documentary style work. I'm hoping to hear back from him. I was like, super flattering in that email. And I hope that it was something that kind of gives me a nice little bite there. But I just sent out an email just to kind of send a little filler out. I'll probably do a follow-up and a follow-up after that. But hopefully that can open some doors and get me in a space where I can network with some key players in my area. I think that's like a good way to get to know somebody, is like to really flatter them, say, hey, we're doing this project. We really want to highlight, people of your status in the area. And people love to talk about themselves and love to do interviews about themselves. And so that's a great way to get to know somebody, but also learn a lot of game from them. Also, if you produce something nice for them, they can probably give you a good idea of what it is that you need to do, who you need to be around, what rooms you need to be in, because they're probably very well connected. So take that idea as you will, do with it what you want with it, but I think it's very important to reach out to people and make sure you're continuing to reach out in different circumstances. Okay. So, let's go down my list of stuff that I want to do today. So we just had that RFP talk earlier today. We did talk about the FX2, and we talked about some RFP strategies. I think that was pretty cool. And then let's talk a little bit about what we want to talk about. I guess so my buddy and I were looking at, yes, that's the next thing. My buddy and I were looking at different ventures that we want to do going forward. One of the things that I think is going to be super vital for me, I actually spent quite a bit of money on a marketing software that I thought was going to be like a huge thing. I basically just gave away $3,000. And a mistake that I probably would never do again, because to be honest with you, there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts when it comes to just like doing video and photo work and trying to build your business. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. All right, so big thing. Let me see if I can copy this over, because I want this music to work on. Existing. see. If I can add this, that'd be dope. I got it. All right. I think I got it now. Okay. So one of the things that I want to talk about is like just business ventures, right? So I all right, so I basically gave away $3,000 just trying to find a way to market my business better. There's this brand or business called Resquared that I signed up for, and that'll be like a good idea. That'll be like, this sounded great. Had a meeting with them, but to be honest with you, what I found out was that it's none of the people who are on that platform, none of the businesses that are on that platform are like voluntarily on that platform. None of the people who you reach out to gave their information to the platform. That information has been scrubbed or scraped from the internet to be on that platform. It's just public knowledge. They basically compiled together what they could find publicly and put that on that website. And so here's the thing. These companies and brands that are getting messages from your Resquared account, they did not volunteer to have their information on there. So what do you think they think of your email? What do you think they think of your message, right? Do you think that they want to get your information? Do you think that they want to read your message? The whole idea is to try to get you in front of that person. But if that person sees you as spam and they don't know that you're using this Resquared platform, they're asking you, how did you get my information? Please stop emailing me. These are some of the responses that you're getting on that platform. I've sent out thousands of emails from that platform. I got one reply back. 0 turned into actual clients. 0. And I even had them do campaigns for me on the platform. 0. And my whole thought process was like, okay, like, you know, $3,000, it's not too bad, because, you know, I just walked you through what some of my prices are and what it costs. One client would pay for that. One client would pay for that subscription, and I haven't got one. And so I think it just goes to show you, like, nothing is that easy. And when people say that, like it doesn't come from that. It doesn't come from like you using some new platform or some new software and like all of a sudden your business is going to skyrocket. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to do the work. You got to do some research. You got to fill out the forms, do the RFPs, do the real work to build your business up. And honestly, if I were to have that money back right now, I would not have used it in that way. How I would use it is this. I want to get a trailer for my business so that I can put equipment in there. I can put like grip, all that stuff that I need for all my projects. Take that stuff out of my house, which I have all of it like right here. Take that stuff out of my house, put it into this trailer, but also brand the trailer with my information, with my logo, with my website, with my my business number, so that people can contact me and reach out to me when they need it. And when I'm on a gig, we look more professional because we have a trailer, a branded trailer that we're out here doing work. It just, sometimes that value of like having a physical presence, and the ability for people to see your brand traveling down the road. Now I drive a truck, I drive a Tahoe, and just putting that on the back of the Tahoe and driving down the road, and then the ability to just get my truck to be my truck, is great as well. Now on the inside of it, I could like completely deck it out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's actually pull this up. Let's pull some trailers up. Matter of fact, we'll go trailer shopping, right? And so now, like again, I told you what the price was for Resquared. Resquared broke down the price basically monthly. It cost me around $3,000 to do that. So here's the question I have for you. Would you spend that money on Resquared? Like this, like, I mean, honestly, the gamble? Or would you spend that money on something like this? Again, I wish I had that money back. Blacked out and closed trailer. Now we're talking. All right, let's look at some images of this. Now we're talking. Look at this. Look at this. Now this is $9,000. Okay, this is a little bit too big. A little bit too big. A little bit very costly. I probably wouldn't be getting something this size. But 7x14 doesn't sound bad. Let's see. All right, now this is nice. Look at, so you see all the space inside of here. Look at this space. And you can rig this out. You can put lighting in there. You can do all types of stuff that allows you to just like have workspaces. You put different work tables in there. You can have a cart in there where you just roll the cart out. And also the fact that it has this right here, rolling things in and out of a trailer like this. I mean, super simple, super easy way. You're not lifting stuff out of the truck. You're walking up a ramp. You're rolling your stuff down the ramp, closing the trailer. I mean, it just adds so much to like your ability to be able to load in and load out of an event becomes so much simpler and easy. Now let's look at let's bring the cost down here. All right, so look, we see some up here, $4,000 here. That's pretty costly as well. I feel like as I've been searching for this, the rates have been just kind of increasing and getting higher and higher. Let's see. But even this one here, titanium trailers, even this one here, like, I mean, look at that. Behind a black trailer, you just, you know what I'm saying? You just put the branding on the side of it. Yeah. You got a door on the side. I love the double wheeled ones. I'm not sure what to call that. You got the brake lights on there. I mean, that's a nice size too. That's a nice size. And what are they talking about? Like, y'all are ready? All right. What are you talking about? Like $4,900. I mean, that's what it costs. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back.
Girl, was tired of hearing the same song. And girl, my life was starting to fade without you around. But then you came along bringing something new. Showed a kind of vibe that I never knew. I want you here by my side. It took a little time, but the magic grew. I didn't see it then, now I see the truth. Girl, I realize, I think I'm falling. I think I'm falling into something special. Into something special, babe. I think I'm falling. Never saw it coming. Got just something special. special. Girl, I think I'm falling in love. Yeah, I think I'm falling in love. Yeah. Girl, what you want, you can have it. You can have it, girl. Oh, it's wherever you wanna go. I can take you there. When you come around and I see you move, you get me in a trance like no one could. I want you here by my side. It took a little time, but the magic grew. I didn't see it then, now I see the truth. And girl, I realize I think I'm falling. I think I'm falling into something special. Into something special, babe. I think I'm falling. Never saw it coming. God, just something special. Girl, I think I'm falling in love. I think I'm falling in love. I think I'm falling. I think I'm falling into something special. Into something special, babe. I think I'm falling. Never saw it coming. God, you're something special, girl. I think I'm falling in love. I think I'm falling in love. Yeah. I think I'm falling in love.
Finally get paid for the get down. You can't tell me now about time. Do you know how many lines I done put down? Vibes I done sent out. But we in here to dig all up the market till they come red carpet the kids. Success still the target. Soon I'll be crossing that bridge. But can't bring everybody with me, family only. I got some people think I owe a favor, barely know me. That's why my focus on the road, it's all I know. I see them sticking close to play the wall and watch my growth. Cause I got something they never had. So get on the beat and I need a helipad. I float, I'm fly, you know where I'm from, so it comes as no surprise. I just out with a mean vernacular, dream spectacular. I keep a queen and passenger, FL capital Y. Anywhere I am, jam, that's for sure. Turn me on, better set the mood from the dough. That's just how it goes.
Glad I've been keeping it playing so long. I hid in this world, I feel it ain't a place that I could roam. But ain't nothing like you when I'm at home. It ain't nothing like you when I'm at home.
That's why I came out stepping. I can't be doing things regular for you. I want the magic to last. I know how time try and ruin things. It get repetitive, got you tempted to doing things. I can't get reckless without you, wouldn't be no music thing. Plus, remember, we made promises way back then. And I still owe that 5-bed house with 2-3 kids. We got a fairy tale plan that's gonna change up the order they sort the mail in. Plus, I know loyalty not as valued as what it was. We not influenced by what they do, cause it's only us. I still hear poetry when I'm looking into them eyes. I still get lost in the thought of you with so much to find. And yeah, you know you fine, but still I must remind that we can live this forever and feel this forever and never and never. And still that wouldn't leave me enough for time to tell you all the ways I feel. Why would I throw that away for thrills? Trying to play the field.
Glad I've been keeping it playing so long. I hid in this world, I feel it ain't a place that I could roam. But ain't nothing like you when I'm at home. It ain't nothing like you when I'm at home.
Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night. Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night.
Sex is the only thing that matter nowadays. If you're looking for some women, there's a platter nowadays. Everybody BBL, ass is fatter nowadays. But it isn't God made, that don't matter these days. I got a strong addiction. Uncle tried to tell me too grown to listen. Itching for a nut, I'm prone to fix it. Scrolling through my phone, I'm on a mission.
Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night. Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night. Looking out my window, it's some girls outside. So I grabbed my keys, I told her get in my ride. Looking for that good sex, cause it's been a long time. She get wet, I'm trying to get on her slide. Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night. Sex, do it right. Sex, through the night.
Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, I had to film some stuff with my wife, but yeah. So looking at some of these, this to me seems like a better investment. So what we were talking about was the difference between investing in some type of technology or something that you feel like maybe be able to get you there, get you to the point where you're reaching more clients and stuff like that. I would have rather spent that $3,000 on something like this. Now this is a really nice one. I am in the Richmond area. Let's see if we can find something in my area. That would be nice. Let's see. So I love these blacked out joints. Now I think they have one in Virginia Beach. Let's see. We got Superior Richmond. They close at 5 o'clock. Superior Richmond. Let's see. Let's look at their website. See what they're talking about. Do they have a website? Yeah. Let's click on that website. See what they're talking about. Okay. I think I've seen this website before. Enclosed racing trailers. I just need like let's see. So they got Virginia Beach. They got Suffolk. They got Richmond. All right. So what type of length and category would I prefer? I think, well, let's start here. I will prefer black. I'll prefer the length to be, let's see, the length to be no bigger than 14. And then let's say the width, I'm okay with seven. Let's see what are categories they got. Do they have one that says enclosed? All right, so 35 units. Black. Is that it? Okay, no, that's not it. Load the rest. This is that I'm at $10,000 here. Do they have anything? They don't have anything enclosed. Let's see. Cargo enclosed. I want to say this was the website I saw that that only had the white ones. Yeah. Now these white ones are cheaper though. I mean, this is a 5x8 that's only $3,000 here, which could be really nice. 5x8, 5x8. Extra height here, which could be nice. But this is for $3,000. Now imagine this with your brand on the side of it. Like, to me, this is a much better investment. And sometimes it takes for you to make a mistake or kind of misstep to realize stuff like this. Now, I'm not a fan of the white ones, so that's cool. But they might have some that's in sale. Let's see if they have some on sale at Virginia Beach. That maybe, I mean, that's in driving distance for me. I would totally drive out to Virginia Beach to check that out. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a black one right here. 6x10 enclosed trailer. That is nice. 6x10 is a good size. Definitely see branding on the side of this. You know what'd be nice? Just for the heck of it. Let's take this side here. And let's see if we can brand it real quick. Maybe we can brand it. Now I have maybe Gemini will be able to do this. All right, so Gemini, we're gonna start a new one. We're gonna start a new one, Jim. All right, so I'm adding this in here. All right, I'm adding that photo. I'm gonna add in some branding. Now I can't remember where I keep. Well, I should have my new logos and stuff in here. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. So it'd be nice for it to all be that kind of like goldish color that I have. So let me hop in Canva real quick. I'm gonna hop in Canva. Let me see if I can pull up this. Canva, here we go. All right, so this is my brand here. I like that one. Probably stay here with it, right? And let's make this bigger. I think this will look pretty cool on that black, you know? And then here we go. Where did my music go? Where did my music go? I feel like my music turned off. Let's see if we can get that going back. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. So there we go. There we go. All right. So I love that, like, kind of like, it's like goldish, but it's not like, you know, crazy gold. Let me download this. Let's see. I'm gonna download this as a PNG. Doesn't have to be huge, but that's not big. All right. So I want to download just this page right here. And then download. All right. We're just gonna pop it right here. That's cool. We'll save it there. All right. So I'm gonna drag this image straight into here as well. Trailer. Can you brand this trailer with a let's just say I'm gonna just say a fake 804 number, and every website URL. Now I know these aren't really good at this. Okay, contentcurators.com, and then okay, let's see if we can do this. I don't know. It maybe it'll do it, it may not. We'll see. Still learning how to generate images. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, maybe we need to go through. Well, I can try Flow. Maybe Flow will allow me to do it. Okay. Can you create a prompt for Flow? Let's go to Flow. Flow. I'm sure you guys have heard of VO before. We're gonna do a new project here. All right, and let's see what Gemini has created. All right. Oh wait, I'm talking about like Google Flow, like the. I mean, how else am I? Like. I'm talking about your flow, Google, right? Like, oh, okay, thanks for specifying Google Flow. Okay, so can you a prompt to sure, you can make a describe a workflow you want to. Why is that acting like it doesn't know what Google Flow is? Now I know these don't do well with like text and images and stuff like doing text, I believe. So Majestic. What? No, I want a prompt. No, I want what? It's not understanding what I'm saying. So I'm gonna be honest with you, like Google Flow and all that stuff has been more difficult than has been more difficult than ChatGPT in a lot of ways, to be honest with you. I want to create a brandless trailer. let's see. Okay, so now now we're in Google Flow. Okay, now we're gonna use we have the prompt. All right. Hopefully the prompt is good. I don't know. But we're gonna use ingredients. Okay, so ingredients allows you to add like 2 or more images to make something. So we're going to trash these. We're going to add in this one. Well, actually, I can't do it like that. We're gonna add in, let's see, I think it's in there. Yep, we're gonna add in this one. And then we're going to add in, I hope I didn't get started. Oh, I switched. Okay, ingredients. Okay, we're gonna add one more ingredient there. Upload. I think that's on my desktop. Got a screenshot there. Got that. Save that. Let's add that. Yep. Okay. Show it to a compatible model. There we go. All right. So now that's going up. All right. Let's see if we can create this in here. I really just want to create like just have a vision of what that looks like. And that would be pretty cool to see what that actually looks like. And, before I go into making a purchase. So that I think like AI has its use cases. I've used it a lot just in this stream by itself. But I will say one thing about VO too. I've tried it in a couple scenarios. I've seen like some good content and video and stuff coming from it, but the problem with it is getting it to do what you want it to do. A lot of people are posting videos, but like, what was the intent? Like, what did you want it to look like? And did it deliver on that, or did it just make something that looked good? And so when you're trying to, like, for me, the way I see this, the way I see AI, like Flow and like VO working for content creators and videographers, the way I see it working is not necessarily the end all be all, especially right now, because it is nearly, from my experience, it's nearly impossible to get it to show you and do what exactly what you want it to do. Now, this is my second or third time using the ingredients feature, which is a really cool feature where you can like add those photos in there to give it something to go off of. Now, I did that for my intro. If you see my intro, which looks like this. Just something fun that I wanted to do. The reason why what I did was I had a picture, I added that in there, and I said to make something, with me with a camera, blah blah blah. And so that's really cool that it can do something like that with the ingredients. Now, the problem comes where if you're trying to get something specific and get it to look like something specific, that's the problem where, like, I feel like it would be difficult to use it. And the way I see it being used as is a tool, a way for you to like get ideas across quickly, get closer to what you want it to look like, so that when it comes time to actually film, it comes time to actually shoot, everyone from design to like crew, as far as DPs and set design, all that stuff, they know and they're on the same page about what the image in photos and video needs to look like. I think that is a crucial step. And I think that will be very nice. But as I'm seeing what's popping up right now, like what is that? What is this? One has got like double T's here and there, and okay, this is like a ad for. See, and this is where I'm like, I don't think it fully understands like what I wanted to do. Now let's look back at our prompt. Let's see what's wrong with our prompt. Oh, so it took it as a trailer. Okay, got you. Hold on. To help two images. I'm trying to explain a little bit more of what I'm trying to do. Combine the two images. The first image is my logo. The second image is an enclosed trailer. Enclosed, I'm a cargo. To see what the logo looks like on the trailer. And so yes. No. Wait. For example, okay, maybe it would have helped to give it I'm gonna give it the images. Maybe it can do it. Drop these images in here and we'll see. Oh, I did it in reverse though, or it's seen in reverse. Hopefully it can recognize that. There we go. Now it's doing something. Okay, that's not a bad idea. I like the cleanness of that. That was quick too. Give me a few options. Actually move the trailer too. It's like in a different angle. But that does not look like my logo at all. So Try again. It should be able to like, no, I don't like the white trailer. No, I don't want you to visualize it differently from I don't want you to visualize it differently from a white trailer. Let's keep the Oh, okay. Okay. They don't like that because that's not the right color, or the logo and stuff, or the right color. This is a cool little image, like just to kind of get the juices flowing, and that's what this is about. Like get the juices flowing. Get like some. This looks totally different than the trailer. No, let's keep the same. Like I want this trailer. Like let's keep the trailer looking like this one, but let's also keep my logo colors and style. Let's drop this in again. Let's try it again. Now, I will say this. ChatGPT takes a lot longer to produce an image like that. But let's compare the two. I'm actually gonna let's pull up ChatGPT. Now that got my logo correct. Now the color of the logo is not great, but it did get the logo correct. Good job. Now I would say I like this first one. Like I like how they did this. Maybe it could be like larger. And I could also just do this myself, right? But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. It's like I don't want to do it myself. I want AI to do it. And I wanted to do it quickly without me having to think about it. Yeah. Maybe that's not gonna happen. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe I will never see that. But again, AI is good. It's good. It's just not great. So let's do the same thing with ChatGPT. Ignore my thousands of different things up here. I'm gonna drop this in here, and then I'm gonna drop in the logo, and I'm gonna give it. Oh, let me put it in the right order. I'm gonna give it the same exact prompt as I gave the other one. Now, it took a couple times for this to get it like right. Let's see. Well, it just gave me the image, right? So okay, so I think it's telling me that after it created the right image, it's gonna give me the prompt. So let's let's just start from like square one with this. All right, so we got so much stuff up right now. All right, here we go. I want to create let's just say I want to brand. This is not a fair comparison, I guess, because it's not the same, but this enclosed trailer with my logo. Oops. Give me a few options. Now, I used to have another program called Midjourney. I use Midjourney quite a bit. It was cool, but it was always like I was creating prompts in ChatGPT, then I was going over to Midjourney, and then I was trying to it's nice that you can start to see these programs starting to do a little bit more. But by now, I could have easily just placed my logo on this in Canva. And especially with the time it's taking for this to do this. So let's duplicate this one. Did I duplicate it? Oh, I want to duplicate this one. Duplicate. Let's drag this in here. Ah, look at this. Now, that's, I mean, it did the text right. It made a fake number, fictitious number. It kept the logo the same. It kept a black trailer, even though I could see just by looking at it that it kind of recreated the trailer a little bit because it's not perfect. But it did a really good job. And this is probably the best image that I've seen. So what is better? ChatGPT or Google, Gemini, Flow? Neither one of them created this image and did it this well. And I was literally about to go over here and start doing it myself, but this just did it. Pretty cool. Guys, I appreciate y'all. I have no clue how long I have been streaming. My restream is not showing how long I've been on, but someone says soft audio in here. I keep getting that, so clearly something's going on with my audio. I hope it's better now, but I'm gonna have to play this back and see it in real time. I appreciate you guys hopping on here. If you did hop on here, and Scotty, I appreciate your comment there about the soft audio. That was probably a while ago, but I appreciate it, and I will make sure to try to fix that. It could be what's going on in my camera. It could be simpler to just grab a simpler camera to record with and just throwing on a DJI mic. Maybe that'll fix everything. But yeah, I've got everything all the way up here from the Blackmagic. It looks like I'm not clipping or anything like that, but it definitely could be higher. And it could be also because I'm not close to the microphone, and this type of microphone it probably just needs a little bit more gain. But we'll see. I'll try to fix that. And I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.